So hello and welcome to I Feel Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where rare gems that are hurting come for a bit of a healing touch. Case in point, this unit here that I've got in front of me, and what I've got here is basically the smallest capacity 4-barrel mechanical secondaries carb that Holley manufactured, and it is a very rare unit to find. I've done at least a couple prior to the channel, but I think this is the first time that we're gonna do one of these in the channel. So first of all, I think I need to bring a bit closer and show you what the unit is and what are its characteristics. Okay, so what you see here is essentially, as I said, the smallest mechanical secondaries Holley carburetor. So as you can see there's some mechanical secondaries, but as you can see the throttle plates are relatively small, and also the venturis here as well are quite small. And this carb has the characteristic that even though it's mechanical secondaries, it only has an accelerator pump for the primary, and the secondaries haven't got an accelerator pump. Now, and this is quite unique in Holley carbs. I know some of you might be thinking, but what about the center squirters? That basically the center squirter have a squirter around here. But what happens with the center squirter is that the center squirter has 4 holes. So actually the accelerator pump action is you've got a squirt in all 4 corners of the carb, whilst this one is different because it only has a squirt in the primary. Yeah, so that is a big difference. So let's have a look at what are we working with here at the moment, and I'm gonna try and give you some tips to identify the exact model as we go along. But as you can see here, that we've got somebody tried to mill the choke tower not very well. I think we're gonna have to kind of do this job properly. The vents here, they've it seems like somebody came and just kind of I don't know what they were thinking, but this is clearly we have to be kind of sorted out. And if we look around here, obviously you can see that the fuel transfer tube is completely mangled and terrible. This will have to be swapped out. And if you look here, obviously the throttle lever is completely knackered. So, and look how it flops around. So this will need a brand new throttle lever and basically complete restoration. But again, as I said before, this is an exceedingly rare unit. So therefore, that's why kind of all the work that we're going to put into this unit, I think it's going to be worth it due to the fact of its rarity. So what we need to do now is try to kind of take it apart and trying to get a further look on the condition of the unit and see what we're working with. Okay, so I've got the carb disassembled, but before I go any further, I need to do one of my kind of Anchor Juan's kind of caveat emptor warnings, because the person that sold me this carb was dishonest and lied. Why? Because in the description of the item, it said that this carb was running, a few months ago in a Ford Mustang, that it passed the MOT, which is like the UK equivalent of a kind of test inspection, and it started not running very right, so the owner changed it. Yeah, that is a lie. This carb hasn't seen fuel in decades. Why say this? Okay, so there are a couple of indications. Number one, look at this. This doesn't happen overnight, and also you've got this, which are this, by the way, are the original gaskets of the carb. And look at the condition. They are completely brittle. If this had seen fuel, they would be at least a little bit more pliable. So the person that sold me this is a liar. Please don't do that, guys. Don't sell stuff, pretend. If it's something that hasn't run in decades, just say it. In my case, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because I knew that this was going to need complete rebuild and a fresh start, like from zero. So it's not a big deal for me. But what I'm angry about is that if somebody would have bought it under false pretenses that it was going to work when it really was not going to work. So once I got that over, there is one thing that we need to do now, which I have done already, which is identify what this carb is. So, and this is really important, because you need to know what sort of parts you're working with in order to understand, what the carb is. Now, this carb in particular is a List 9776. Yeah, and it says here in the manual, it's a universal off-road 465 CFM. So it's the intermediate carb between the 390 CFM, which is the smallest 4-barrel, and the 600, which is the, List 1850, classic, 4-barrel carb. And the fact that it says universal off-road, and here it says aftermarket universal off-road, means that this is a performance carburetor. So that's why when I saw it, I knew what it was. And therefore, that's why I say this carb is a real gem. Now, how do I know it's a 9776? Okay, I'll show you the clues. How did I piece this together? Okay, in the case of this unit, there were two clues that tell me this is a 9776. First, this stamping here in the base plate, you can read 9776, and also you've got here in the metering block, you've got L9776. That's List 9776. And that is what gives you the list number for this carb. That's how you identify the carb. This is kind of no bueno. It needs kind of complete cleaning. And where are the shafts here? Obviously, the only thing we're going to rescue from this shaft is this. And that's it, because this is absolutely knackered. So this is going to go kind of straight into the bin. It's not worth it. So now what we need to do is we need to start getting on with the cleaning of this unit. Okay, so here's a little explanation about what makes this carb so rare, the 465 CFM. And the main reason why this carb is very rare is because of its base plate. Yeah, so this is what I call the intermediate base plate for Holley carbs. Alrighty, so as you can see, what you can see here is your 390 CFM base plate. So this is the smallest base plate for Holley 4-barrel carbs. Let's have a look here. See, I'm a metric system guy. and it's 36 mil, kind of give or take thereabouts. There you can see it. Now this is the base plate that came with the Carb, and this is a 600 CFM base plate, and you might not see it, but they are not the same size. So let's measure them. So this one is 38 thereabouts mil. Again, metric system guy. And the 600 CFM it's nearly 40. Yeah, so you can see that this one is slightly larger than this one, and that's what I call the intermediate base plate, which is the intermediate between the 390 and the 600. And again, these base plates are very rare, this size, and that's what makes a carb like this very rare. So I just wanted to point that out. Now what I need to do in the reconstruction process, I need to obviously tidy this up quite significantly and restore the vent tubes, which is going to be a bit of a task, but it should. I've got an idea of how I'm going to do that. Okay, so now what we're doing, I need to kind of take the rest of the kind of choke tower out, and the way I do it is I put a straight edge through here, and I use a marker to basically make like a straight line, like so, and that gives me kind of the line that I need to cut. I'll show you a bit closer. You see, so this is the choke tower, this is a straight edge, and this is the line. So if I mark it like this, then I will be able to cut a straight line through there. Okay, so now I'm in a position where I can, start showing you all of the work, the considerable work that was done restoring this carb. But before I do so, I do have one important clarification to make, which is the only reason I've done all of the work that I'm going to show you now is because this carb is exceedingly rare, and therefore it's worth my while doing it. If this would have been a normal like list 1850 or that kind of stuff, a more kind of common carb, absolutely no way. I would have chucked it in the trash like straight away or used it for parts. Okay, so all of the bits that I'm going to show you now apply in a case like this where you've got an absolutely stonkingly rare carb. Okay, so let me show you, let me come a bit closer. Alrighty, so let's start with the replacement parts. So as you can see, this was the original shaft that came in. It was absolute trash. This is the fuel tube transfer. Absolute trash. Obviously we'll put a new one in. And here you see the base plate, how it is now. So we've got a brand new primary shaft, and also the secondary shaft, and the throttle plates have been completely restored. Yeah, so look at now, look at the throttle action now. Yeah, there you go, it's a pure double pumper, excellent. And also obviously you have to bend this tab a little bit here so that you can achieve full throttle on both sides. So that's one. More stuff that we done. Obviously, as you know, that when this thing came here, it had still this bit of the choke tower, so that was eliminated, and I tidied up as much as I could all of the mangled things that were there. I did have to create a couple of bent tubes for the fuel bowls, just on a kind of safety thing, just in case fuel starts sloshing down, so that there is some degree of vent for the tubes. And you can see here that I've kind of stuck a tube in there, and also there you can see it as well. So the tubes are going to bend okay. Now jetting, it had in the manual, because you have to look at the manual for all of this, it says 58s on the main jets and it came with 68. So it had jets that were 10 sizes too big, which is ridiculous. And also the power valve, it says in the manual that it needs an 8.5 power valve. It came with a 6.5. That's incorrect. So now it's been changed to the correct one. And well, the fuel bolts, obviously we fixed them, and we put a brand new needle and seat assembly, brand new hardware. That all of that looks good. So that this is what I say, that this carb, in reality, the amount of work that's been done to it is only worth it if you got a very, very rare unit. So what we need to do now is just, slam this unit together, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so here we have the unit in its glory. Obviously, the choke tower, it was always going to be kind of a bit mangled due to the kind of work done by the previous owner. But look at this. This is an absolutely beautiful unit that is ready to go, rebuilt absolutely perfect, and therefore ready to be installed in a vehicle. And obviously, as I said before, what saved this unit really was the fact that it is so crazy rare, and this is what was its saving grace. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly don't know if I enjoyed it very much because of the amount of work, the sheer amount of work and spare parts I have to put into this unit. But anyway, it is going to be worth it in the end. And also, it was rare enough that it was worthy to be rescued. So anyway, I want to say thank you very much for watching this episode. And if you've got any question, put it down in the comments. And if not, I'll see you in the next episode.